Pretty spiritual.
Hi, I'm Shay,
And I'm Amy.
and welcome back to another episode of
Pretty spiritual. Hey, hun.
Hi, Ken.
So, do you want to kick things off with your high vibe and low vibe?
Yes, so my low vibe this week is the weather again. I'm sorry, the weather has such a big impact on my mood. I can't cope. We had like a small inkling of sunshine, and then it's just been cold and wet. And I've got dahlias all out,
Oh.
and dahlias don't do well in the cold whatsoever. But I was like, right, I'm going with it. They're going in the ground, in the pots, and you're gonna go outside. And then like the temperature keeps dropping and all the rain, and it's just stressing me out. But I've heard that next week we are getting some sunshine, so
Fingers crossed for that.
fingers crossed. So that was my low vibe, and my high vibe is that my pod arrived.
That is so exciting.
So my pod is in my garden. Empty, but it's in my garden. I've just had so much going on that I haven't had chance to. I want to be able to put my focus into doing it up. So it's on a bit of a hold because I've had my son's birthday, paying for holidays, obviously paying for the pod and paying for groundwork to be done, and then just chaos in the middle.
Mm,
So I'm looking forward to being able to give it the time that it needs to do that.
yeah, definitely. It's an exciting new chapter for you.
What about you?
Oh, so my low vibe is my car had a little bump this week, which is sad times.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be okay. It's going to get fixed, so it's like nothing that's not repairable.
It's just
But
annoying.
yeah, it's just an inconvenience. It's like something else that you have to sort out on your list, isn't it? But yeah, the main thing is like nobody got hurt, like no real damage.
Yeah.
It is just a bit of a scrape. So yeah, that would be my low vibe. My high vibe is I've had a little bit of a pamper week again this week.
Oh,
Like I've had my
so
hair done, I've had my lashes and my brows. Like it's been one of those weeks where again everything just seems to have like fallen in the same week. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's been nice.
Oh, that's so lovely. I wish I could just have all my appointments in one week.
It's great, but then you are a bit like, what else am I actually going to get done this week?
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm like,
Time for anything.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I mean, it's a nice problem to have, isn't it?
Mm.
So
Yeah. So this week we are talking about what we're calling the messy middle.
yeah, and I suppose this is that period of your life where you feel like you're between like versions of yourself or between chapters in your life, which to be honest is something that happens several times throughout
Yeah.
our lifetime, and I think it's something that most people will be able to relate to.
Yeah, so it's that kind of period of time where you feel like you're not achieving what you want to achieve, or you don't know which direction you're going in, and it can just feel a bit stagnant, can't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So, what does it mean to be in the messy middle?
I think it means that you are in a period of transition in your life. So for me, it's when I know that a chapter of my life is either coming to an end or has ended. And it's almost like the new chapter either hasn't quite started or it's just started, but it's really early days.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know, part of you is kind of still in that old chapter, old part, but you've almost like got one foot in that camp, and then the next foot is like in that next phase.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can be
Limbo.
yeah, you are. You're in kind of limbo. You know sometimes that you're going through that kind of period of transition. But it's just a bit of a weird phase that
Yeah.
to be in your life.
Yeah, and I think for some people, I know me definitely because I'm impatient girly. It can feel quite stagnant and frustrating sometimes to be in the messy middle. But then when we go back to the episode of being in flow, I feel like you have to just kind of give in to the position you're in sometimes and just go with the flow with it. But I find that really hard to do. But yeah, it can be very kind of frustrating to be at that stage, but you just have to trust the universe.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like we all just want to, especially if you know kind of what is next for you or what you're striving towards. I think it can be difficult when you feel like you're not quite getting there or not getting there as quickly as you want to. So yeah, I do think that could be really frustrating. But it's kind of like a necessary period to go through, like when you're going through a transition. Yeah, like you're sort of, it's necessary whenever you transition.
Yeah, because I
through
guess
something.
if everybody had everything like instantly all of the time, it would become so exhausted, wouldn't it? You do have to work towards things, and even though it doesn't feel like you're working towards something, you still are. It's just happening in the background.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what kind of situations or experiences do you think can cause us to be in the messy middle?
I think lots of things. So changing jobs, moving from one job to another,
Yeah.
or having a total career change, which is something that I can kind of definitely relate to.
Yeah.
It could be that a relationship has ended and you're, going from being in a relationship or married to kind of single, and
adjusting
to what that looks like again. I guess not that I can relate to this personally, but it could be going from a period of like being pregnant to having a child, and that's probably something that you can relate to. Like it's that kind of like transition period. So I think it's anything in your life where
things change
and you feel like you're adjusting.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm in that period right now as well. Like there's things going on in my life that are just they're gonna happen. It's a slow burner, but you feel stuck, don't you? But you just have to trust divine timing and all that, and it'll happen when it happens. And I think everybody can relate to the feeling of being in the messy middle at some stage in their life. And like you said before, we get over it like multiple times, or go through it multiple times even. So yeah.
Definitely. So what things do you find help you when you are in that like middle phase? Is there anything that you do?
I have to continuously ground myself and kind of check myself and remind myself to trust the timing of the universe, essentially, because like I said, I'm an impatient girly, and I, mixed with my ADHD, can get very worked up and frustrated when things aren't happening as quickly as I would like them to. So I do have to put in some of my grounding practices and really kind of bring myself back to earth, because I also will get to a point where me waiting for something to happen will paralyze me from doing other things. And that's not good. And I will literally, to a point that I will sit in a chair and stare at a wall, waiting. I mean, I can function slightly, but I would see no problem with not doing anything, because the thought of me being in limbo and not being able to achieve what I want to do is quite paralyzing.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I do have to put in a lot of grounding practice, and that could look like going to sit outside. It could look like, one of my favorite things to do is get in the bath and change my temperature regulation, and that seems to snap me out of a little bit. And I think just having a good like cleanse in the bath is just great for me. That's my personal thing.
Oh, I love that.
You?
So I think when I'm in that period, I have to keep kind of reminding myself that this isn't permanent.
Yeah.
Like this phase isn't permanent, but it is definitely necessary. And I do a lot of like visualization and like manifestation. So I feel like when I'm in that period and I know what I'm working towards, I do a lot of like visualizing like how it's going to feel, like what it's going to look like when I get there, and like manifesting like how it's going to feel. And I'm a believer of kind of like raising your vibration to the level of what it is that you're trying to achieve. And it's not always easy to do that, but that's something that I do really try to do, like especially if I know that the direction that I'm heading in.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's all part of the journey. So I try and remind myself that it's not a race, and it's not, it is part of the journey, and like I'm going to learn things along the way. So yeah, I think it is just that like checking in with yourself, that self-talk, that kind of those constant reminders of like, this isn't forever, like it's perfectly normal. And I think as well, like allowing myself to feel any emotions that come up during that time, because I feel like there can be a lot of emotions. Like if, for example, you are, I don't know, if a relationship has broken down and you're transitioning to kind of life by yourself, like there's a lot of emotions that can come with that. Equally, I left the corporate world and have now transitioned to set up my own business, and I'm doing something kind of similar in some ways, but there's lots of different aspects to what I'm doing now as well. And so I have to kind of keep reminding myself I still feel like I'm in that transition phase, and it's kind of getting used to what the new kind of normal is for me. And I know that will only come with time. And so it's just, I think it's just trying to embrace that and allow yourself to feel and process any emotions that come up when you're going through that period.
Yeah, no, I think you've just like explained that perfectly. I have nothing to add to it. You did it so well.
Thanks.
Yeah, perfectly said.
Thank you, Hun.
So, Hun, why do you think we go through these changes and phases?
I think because life isn't meant to look the same the whole way through. I think
it's linear.
No, it's not. And it's, it's part of our life, it's part of our soul's evolution. It's just part of what we're meant to experience. Like, things aren't meant to stay the same all the time. And I think it's necessary when you want to upgrade your life in whatever way that looks like. It's inevitable that you have to go through these phases where you are sort of still partly attached to the old part of your life, but you're also stepping into the new part. So I think it's literally part of everybody's life. And sometimes it will be because there's something that you want to go after. Say, for example, like a new job, like you have put yourself in that situation where you've decided that you want to change your job or change your career. And it's something that's being very much driven by you. But sometimes there will be things that just happen in your life that you haven't planned for, that wasn't necessarily something that you wanted. And you'll sort of be forced into that situation where, you are moving through a period of change. So I literally think it is part of life. And I think it's something that we go through literally from the moment we're born until the moment we die. I don't think it will ever stop. There'll always be these like cycles and these chapters.
Agreed. I think it's the universe's way of reminding you to check yourself.
Yeah.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. No. I think the goal for everyone, or most people at least, is happiness, right? And it's a journey. It's not a one straight path. And I think they are necessarily to teach us. I think everything in life's a lesson, and it's how you grow from that. So yeah, that's my view on that.
Yeah, and I think as we go through life and we learn more and we heal more, we become aware of things that are no longer serving us, which we've talked about before. And so I think part of that is that we step away from those things and we open ourselves up to new things and new opportunities. So I think it is kind of all part and parcel of that learning journey.
I think humans by default crave excitement in their life as well. So when things start to feel stagnant, you can consciously change the path or direction that your life is going in. And I'm one of those people that can just go, and explode something. Do you know what I mean? And just change up the direction. I know some people are a bit more kind of cautious than that, but people do crave excitement, and then sometimes to find that excitement you have to go on to a new chapter or change direction completely. So you subconsciously put yourself in those situations, I think, to achieve a greater sense of happiness. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So is there a specific time that comes to mind when you think about being in that like messy middle?
I was in how many years was it? Like 5 years? 4 or 5 years? A 4 or 5 year relationship with someone, house, dog, like everything. And then one Christmas.
One Christmas, 'twas the night before Christmas.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
When in Shay's house.
It was in your house.
Was actually in my house. We actually did have Christmas together that year, didn't we?
Yeah, it was day of Christmas. It's just, Just don't play a game of Mr. and Mrs. with someone if
No, that game was not. Was that game like the turning point? No, stop it.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I actually didn't know that.
Oh,
No, that is so funny.
that's happened.
Right,
Yeah, anyway.
compose. I need to compose myself.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
That's
so we played Mr. and for anybody
No,
that's
it's not the game
listening,
anymore.
we played Mr. and Mrs. one Christmas. Apparently not the right game to play.
And I threw away my whole relationship a week later.
Oh my God,
No.
no way.
No, but I shouldn't laugh because it's really bad. I literally just like was like, screw it.
Mm,
But you get people that do wake up one day and just
yeah.
think, this isn't my path. This is not the path I want to be on, and this is not where my life's going. But for me, it just so happened to be Christmas Day, playing a game with all my friends and loved ones. Had a great day, by the way.
So
But
funny.
it was a realization, and after that period of me exploding my life like that, oh my gosh, I was in the messiest of middles. I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like, why have I done this? Then COVID hit.
Oh yeah.
Literally within a few weeks, I had to leave my house. I had to move back in with my mom, which I hadn't lived with my mom since I was 17. I was like, what, 25? Moving back in with my mom. And it felt very messy, and it brought on like some quite like dark, not dark, but like feelings of, oh God, what have I done? Why have I done this? And then, like I said, when COVID hit, it got even messier because the whole world just stopped. And so you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
where do I go from here? I'm now 25, living at my mum's house.
No idea when I can leave at this point.
My ex-partner's still got my cats. Kind of my cat's back, yeah. And it felt very, very messy. And there was a lot of work I had to do internally on myself, just to kind of get myself through that. And lo and behold, I did a lot of high vibration work and manifestation work at the time. It's one of the first times I've actually looked at it like properly. I wasn't this big spiritual person I am now either, which is quite funny. And I manifested my way out of my mom's house into a new house, and I found a wonderful relationship after that, and I now have a child. And so, yeah, it wasn't the path I was meant to be on. It would have been so easy to stay on that, but I don't think I'd have had the goal of happiness if I hadn't gone through that messy middle.
Yeah, of course. And I think like that is such a good like example, real life example of like you have to go through that uncomfortable period and like what's at the end, or not at the end, but what comes after that is like so worth it.
The way I see it is you can't explode something without there being a mess. You have to wait for the dust to settle and clear up the mess. And then,
Yeah, definitely.
So what advice or what is something that you would say to our listeners right now on the topic of the messy middle?
I would say just hang on in there when you're going through that messy middle period. It can feel so uncomfortable. It can feel really scary. It can feel really emotional. It can bring lots of different things up. It is a perfectly normal part of the process that everybody goes through. Just give yourself the space to process whatever it is that's coming up for you, and just know that whatever it is that comes after is going to be so totally worth it.
And my little line of advice would be, don't drop a bomb on your life unless you're ready to deal with the consequences. Like, viewer discretion. My way is not the right way.
And not on Christmas Day either.
I'm going to give it a couple of weeks.
So funny. And if any of our listeners have any advice or tips on things that they do or things that they've done to navigate the messy middle, like let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear.
Would love to hear it. So I feel less bad about myself. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Pretty Spiritual.
If you've enjoyed hanging out with us, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along to be the first to receive any updates.
We hope to see you on Tuesday, the 9th of June, for another episode of
Pretty Spiritual.
Pretty Spiritual!